It makes me sick.
Hey guys, it's Keenan. It's Sunday, February 6th, 2011, and this is my therapy video. First of all, check out Dylan. Dylan was he was on the channel a bit ago, and so go help him with his project. I will link his video down there. And if you haven't done so already, if this is the first time you've heard about the project or you've completely ignored every other person on this channel's link, go do it. Help Dylan. Do it. Do it before you watch my video even. Do it. Anyway, onto my video now. So, anyway, I have been to therapy, and it was for gender. So when I came out to my parents as genderqueer and liking girls a year and a half ago, and it registered to them that I liked girls, but the whole genderqueer thing didn't really register. So it was about a year ago that my mom was like, hey, so what's this whole gender thing? And I came out to them as genderqueer again and as trans, because I had been identifying as trans for for a while by that time. So we talked and like, well, would you like to go to therapy? And I said, yes, that's probably a good idea. And so they looked on my city's center for their LGBTQ center, and they had a whole list of therapists recommended, and they picked a therapist, and we went to her, and she's a gender therapist, and I guess she's really well known and everything, and kind of big in the field. Anyway, I went to her, and it was awful. I hated it so much. So, first of all, her office was awful. It was like, you would go into this old office building, and then you would walk in, and there like kind of like a little hallway sort of thing, and she would play this awful jazz music when you were waiting, and I hated it, and it was loud, so I guess you couldn't hear the other people in the room over. Anyway, so then you would go into this room, and it was a pretty small room on this couch, and I was always facing the clock, and we had 50-minute sessions, and I was always facing the clock, and so I would either hope that the session would go longer so something could actually happen, or hope it was over because it was awful, and she was just awful, and I didn't like her as a person, and I didn't like her as a therapist, and all we seemed to talk about was, I mean, I know she wanted to get to know me and what my interests were and everything, but we either seemed to talk about off-topic stuff, or the next session, when we were going to schedule the next session, or talking to my parents. And she had some sessions with my parents, and sorry, that was a solicitor, so I didn't pick up. So listen, yeah, so she talked to my parents, and I don't know what she said to them, but I know that she said that there's this queer youth center that I like going to 20 minutes away from my house, and so it's kind of a big deal when I go. You know, it takes up our entire evening and everything. So she told she told my parents that if I wanted to go, I would ask, which is completely untrue, because I didn't really want to ask, because I didn't want it to seem like a burden or go too often that it was inconvenient for them. And I mean, it was taking up their entire Friday nights too, and I didn't know if they have plans, so I kind of want them to offer it, be like, hey, do you want to go to the center? So she was completely wrong about that, but I didn't know why my parents weren't suggesting it, and I wasn't going to suggest it until, you know, I found this out, and I was like, oh, well, that's completely untrue. Why did you say that? That was stupid. And she seemed to not respect my identity. It was, I don't know if it was that she just wanted to make sure that I was solid and unwavering in my identity, which I don't see why, because gender and sexuality are fluid, and say I did decide to change, I don't think I will. But say my identity shifted or something. So I don't know, maybe I don't know what she was thinking. Anyway, she always was talking about the Dutch and how they have something for trans youth, how they don't let you start medically transitioning until you're 18 because, 80, I think it was like 80% of the kids who go in there end up leaving, or by the time they're 18 or whatever, are identifying as just very feminine gay men, or very feminine men, or butch women, or not wanting to medically transition or whatever. But the thing is, it wasn't like I was asking to go on hormones or surgery then. I wasn't there to get a letter. I know I won't be able to start medically transitioning until I'm 18 anyway. So it was just stupid. And she talked about this, and I didn't care, and it didn't pertain to me. And it was completely unhelpful. And I don't know what she said to my parents, and I still don't know, and I hope she didn't say anything that was stupid. Well, I'm sure she did. But any BS and stuff. As you can tell, I'm angry about this. And it was awful, and I would get like panic attacks. Like I'd get like super nervous and clammy and everything whenever I had to go see her, because it was awful. And then I was talking to someone recently, and she's post-op, and my therapist, or ex-therapist, I'll get to that in a second. My ex-therapist is also her ex-therapist, and when I mentioned her name, she was like, "Oh yeah, she was awful. Like, she was a awful therapist," which is really too bad, because if she's so big in the business for trans therapy, then she's really I think she's misrepresenting us, and she's not a good person to have in the community. I mean, with something as, I guess, as touchy or as complicated as transitioning and stuff, and I guess she gives talks and whatever, I think having two people really dislike you is a bad thing. What else? So, oh, and then, we probably had 4 sessions together or something. I don't know. We had too many sessions together. All I know is that. And then she was like, "Well, I think you're doing fine. I don't think you're having any problems. I don't think we need to meet. If you want to give me a call or meet, once every couple months, or if you need to meet again, just, give me a call." And I was just like, hell no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to see this woman ever again. Don't want to. Don't make me, please don't. And then, so recently, my parents were talking to my guidance counselor at school, who I'm pretty sure knows I'm trans and stuff. And she suggested that I see a therapist. So we're working on that right now, and hopefully she'll be a lot better. Word of advice: if you don't like your therapist, there's no obligation to see them again. You're not going to hurt their feelings. I'm sure they've had at least one client leave them. Don't feel bad about it. You'll probably never see them again anyway. So it doesn't matter if you, hurt their feelings, whatever. It's just business. And, go to a therapist that you're comfortable with. Because I didn't for a couple sessions, and it was a waste of money. It's made me greatly dislike therapy. And I'm nervous to go again. And I view a therapist as a non-judgmental person who is supposed to be like your best friend, kind of like someone who you can tell everything to without feeling like you're being judged, and they will give you good advice and everything. And this lady, I don't know what she did. Nothing, actually. And I mean, at this point I just feel more comfortable talking to my friends and stuff than a therapist. which I guess is good. But you know, there's some things I want to talk about with someone who's unbiased, or you know, doesn't hang out with me every day and whatever. And yeah, I think it's beneficial. You know, it's just someone to bounce ideas off of and just speak your mind. It's kind of like talking to, like, instead of like journaling or whatever, like, or having a diary or whatever. I guess a lot of people vlog too, or blog. Just someone to talk to, and I think therapy is a good idea. You just have to find a good therapist that you feel comfortable with. So that's my experience. I've only had one experience, and it was a bad one. Hopefully I'll have another one that's good. So yeah. So go help Dylan now. Okay. Um, Everyone have a good Sunday. Yeah. Have fun watching the Super Bowl and watching the commercials and the Black Eyed Peas, who I'm really not excited about. I've seen them twice in concert because they opened up for U2. But yeah, okay. See you next week. Bye. Oh, I forgot to say that my therapist, she seemed like, um, sorry. Okay, so my ex-therapist, she seemed like, because I identify as genderqueer and trans, that was not a valid identity, that I had to identify either fully as male or as genderqueer, and then I shouldn't medically transition at all in whatever way, because I, you know, I don't solidly identify as male, and I may, you know, switch back to female or whatever, and that is a bad idea, and I might regret it, and I'm young, and I don't know what I want. So I think that's stupid, and that, yeah, I mean, I do know what I want. I'm not able to transition until I'm 18 anyway. Before I get top surgery, I'm sure I'll go to therapy again. I'll get a letter, even if I don't, I'm sure I'll need it. So I'll need to get a letter. And, as if I go on T or not, I'm sure I'll go on therapy on that. So, she was just being stupid, and I'm angry about it. And it was really a damaging experience. Okay, bye.